Okay, today we are playing a game on Ilios. The average SR of this game was 1,366, and we will be playing 2 rounds as Zarya before changing to Mercy for the last round. Don't get too excited though, because it's old Mercy, not new Mercy. If you've come looking for some hot Valkyrie action, you've come to the wrong place. There's probably websites for that. Our current team composition is Roadhog, Zarya, McCree, Reaper, Junkrat, and Lucio. So, we only have one healer, which is not the end of the world, but what is the end of the world is that the only healer is Lucio, which is not enough healing, frankly. So, I would change, this means our only tank will be Roadhog. It doesn't matter that much, because this is Bronze SR, but not having a main healer is going to be an issue, so I would change to Mercy or Ana, depending on your preference. Well, actually, I would change to Zenyatta, because I would expect to be able to, throw orbs at people and kill them. If you're not so confident, then Ana or Mercy would be a better choice, depending on your preference. Personally, I prefer Mercy, especially seeing as she is pretty crazy right now. So, I would have changed to another healer. And then our only tank would be Roadhog. Look, that's not the end of the world, especially in this SR. But not having a real healer, that's the end of the world. So, let's start the game. So, we're in Ruins right now. It's, it's really close to just being a perfectly standard team. And then over there, they've got a Torbjorn, so they're probably really stoked about that one. So they also have a Roadhog, because of course they do. And here comes Junkrat. Junkrat's not allowed to do this. I would not be concerned with this trap in the middle of the point, because the Junkrat's still hopping around in front of me, so I would be trying to kill that dude first. The counter-argument would be that you don't want somebody else to blunder in and step on the trap, so you should break it. I'm more concerned with trying to kill the enemy hero first, honestly. So we've managed to bubble the Reaper, got hooked by the Roadhog. Not that it's the end of the world if Reaper gets hooked by Roadhog, because the Roadhog is probably not going to kill the Reaper anyway. So, miraculously, we have managed to get control of the point, mostly because they have a Torbjorn, so they're probably pretty upset about that. I'd be pretty upset about that. We're really worried about breaking this Torbjorn turret. It's in a terrible place. There's no need to be that concerned about it, because it can see basically nothing, and we're putting ourselves in a really bad position to try and break it. If you're gonna try and break it, just, sit further back and right-click at it, because there's no need to, walk right up into the Roadhog and Torbjorn's face to try and break it. It's in a bad spot. It can barely see anything. Also, here's some mind games for you. If the Torbjorn has put his turret in a really bad place, which is prone to happening sometimes, if you don't break it, he's less likely to move it, which means he's more likely to keep it in the bad position than try to build it in a good position. Sometimes the play is to ignore it because the Torbjorn has put it in a terrible place. So he's using Molten Core because he has that already, which is pretty crazy, but I guess we do have a Roadhog for him to farm. However, he didn't have a turret, so there was basically nothing for him to do, really. And the enemy team, they're really scattered. One of their heroes is Torbjorn. I don't even know who their healer is or if they have one. They have a Lucio, right? Yes, we saw a Lucio. So, their team's really bad. They do have a Mercy as well. I've not seen her this entire time. So, she's either doing really well or really badly, depending on your perspective. So, we've almost got Graviton built up, which is cool. We don't have an amazing combo with Graviton. Don't worry about that. Doesn't matter. I don't care who you talk to. So, the best combo we basically have, Junkrat's not allowed to do this. Don't, right-click at the dude. You're high energy right now, so just, left-click this dude. Just, bore a hole in the back of his skull rather than right-clicking at him. You'll kill him faster. Because you are high energy. So our best combo is basically Roadhog, but excellent discipline on the Junkrat to not immediately pop it on your face. However, he did pop it near us, and we're at 25 HP. Don't walk back onto the point when you're at 25 HP, because you're just gonna die. Unless you know a Mercy is gonna res you, in which case then it's okay, but we don't have a Mercy right now, so that's not gonna happen. So we do have Graviton. Roadhog's just used his ultimate, so that was our best combo gone. McCree and Junkrat are not awful, but they're not exactly great. Reaper would be our second best bet, but Death Blossom is also not great, because the Reaper kind of has to put himself, like, point blank. However, McCree's just killed 3 people, including both of their supports, so we want to just go in here and fight. This is like, this just happens to work out. I wouldn't advise using Graviton that way, because like we catch a glimpse of Roadhog, and then we chuck it over there to try and pull him back. We end up also getting the Torbjorn. So it ends up working out okay, but the Roadhog's already moving backward, and we never actually saw the Torbjorn, and he just, like, walked into it as well after it was already there. So I would have held it for longer than that, because there's a good possibility that one just catches nobody, and that'd be really tragic, because Graviton takes a very long time to charge. What did that say? What did that text say? I watched this through earlier, but I've forgotten what that text said. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It's fine. So, we're now on well. Our Roadhog's hooked their Roadhog in. Fantastic news. Roadhog's their only tank, so this is great. They have a Junkrat. Really easy to farm energy off of a Junkrat. We don't need to play this pensively right now, because their Roadhog is dead. We're 50% charge right now. That's high charge. Like, and their Lucio just died as well. Just like, start moving into these fools and start trying to kill them. There's no need to, like, sit back and play it calm, because you're high energy. If you're high energy and you're playing Zarya, well, who else are you going to be high energy as? If you're high energy, that's when you start playing aggressively, because now you're the best DPS in the game. Because you're a DPS that has 400 hit points. And also, like a smaller model than Doomfist. You know, I think about it. We didn't we sat back the whole time just right-clicking them. If you're high energy, and we picked 2 people off as well. We were high energy with 2 picks. Just go start killing fools. Nothing to be afraid of anymore at that point. Unless they have a Reaper. They don't have a Reaper. So, their Roadhog is trying to hook people right now, but he's not getting much luck done. Much luck with that, rather. And our Roadhog went and did that. He wasn't allowed to do that, and he kinda got away with it. We should not be opting into this fight, because 1v1... Zarya versus Roadhog, you're gonna lose that fight unless the Roadhog really fucks up. And a play that depends on the enemy team playing badly is not a good play. There's also, like, a Torbjorn over here as well, and then he does that, like, we shouldn't be here. This is not our area. That's how it's also not in a good position, because it can basically only see you if you've moved, like, right across the point. So it's not exactly got a wide range of coverage. We're opting into a fight that we're not favored in, just like 1v1, but there happens to be a Torbjorn in the area as well, so it's even worse. If we know our team is gonna come and help us with it, that's another matter, but we're in Bronze SR, we can trust no one but ourselves, so. Which is also why Zarya is good. She's a relatively independent hero, and you can correct other people's mistakes with your E, so she is good for this kind of thing. She's independent because she has 200 regenerating hit points, so she's less dependent on healers. Small thing that can matter. If you're wounded and you shift yourself, if your bubble takes damage, it doesn't reset your shield's regen underneath, so you can be regenerating HP under your bubble, even if you're getting shot at. So, Zarya is quite hard to kill, and also in low SR. The thing that's most different between low SR and high SR is the time to kill. People are really bad at killing people in low SR, so Zarya is really good. Roadhog's also good for a similar reason. He used to be insane, of course, when he could just one-shot somebody, but those days are gone now. So, we have an Orisa now. Orisa just got stuck. Unfortunately, we used our E on the Reaper, right as it happened, and that feels really bad, man. So, we can't really do this. I was trying to think exactly how to put this. So, if you're just gonna try and farm some energy off the Junkrat, that's fine. Like, this is a fine time to do that, because he's throwing bombs over here, so you just shift yourself and eat the bombs. But we're walking forward into a lot of bad people. There's a Roadhog here. We happen to get trapped as well. But also, we're missing Orisa right now. So we're going in solo as Zarya. Zarya is also not a very good solo tank, because she doesn't have a very big presence like Reinhardt or Winston does. Or D.Va. Though D.Va, defense matrix nerf, you know. So we're not allowed to go forward right there, because part of our team is dead, and we're advancing into a lot of bad people. And it gets worse because we get trapped, but like Roadhog could just hook us, and that would also feel bad, seeing as their whole team was right there. So we have Graviton. We still don't have a good combo for it. That's happening, just don't worry about it. It's not in a great spot still, so we can just kind of avoid it. We've like not noticed this dude walk up on the side of us right there for a while, which is not great. This is also a very optimistic Graviton. Try not to lob the Graviton from the other side of the map, because it has quite a long travel time, actually. So, you want to give people as little opportunity to react to it as possible. For the similar thing with Earth Shadow, a lot of Reinhardts jump before they Earth Shadow. You don't want to do that, because it gives an extra half second for them to react. Graviton from the other side of the map gives them like an extra second or two to react. We don't want that to happen. Ideally, you're like basically right on top of them, so you can just shoot it at your feet, and then they'll get pulled into it. Not realistic, but not realistic every time anyway, but you do want to be as close as possible so that there's less time for them to react. Now, you can take that too far the other way. Like, don't like suicide march up to them because you have your Graviton, but try not to lob it from like that far away either. So, headphones have fallen off. So, we've just lost our Orisa and Zenyatta, which is of course terrible, and our Pharah has killed herself somehow, so that's obviously great. So, we're now having a hobble around at not full HP, and they've gotten control of it, but if we walk forward any sooner, we also probably just die stepping onto the point, so... And we want to try and, like, delay as long as possible so our team can get back. Reaper's just died stepping on a trap, so that's very exciting. Zenyatta gets here just in time to save us. Tracer almost killed herself, but she had a recall, which is very sad. Because Transcendence was on us, we seem to have lost all sense of self-preservation at this point, because now we're marching into their entire enemy team. We're not allowed to do this, because their team wants us to be really close. They've got Roadhog, Torbjorn, Junkrat. All of these people would like if you're, like, right next to them, because it makes it easier for them to do their jobs. We're, like, reasonably long range. We can just sit back and, like, shoot at them from the other side of the pit. We just march into all these people that want us to be close to them. So, we put ourselves in their zone when we don't need to be in their zone. We should just, like, sit back and, like, prod at them until we get a better opportunity. We can't march into the whole team. So this is the round we're going to change to Mercy. This is old Mercy, so we're not, like, Ultimate, we're not even going to talk about it, because our ult is, of course, completely different now. So we're basically just going to focus on, like, target prioritization and positioning, basically. So we have a Pharah, which is cool, because we get to just hang out in the sky. You did say before the game that you don't really like pocketing Pharah, because you think of her more as, like, an escape route than, like, your weapon, was, I think, how you put it. Just, like, hang out in the sky with the Pharah. Because here's the thing, if you're hanging out in the sky with the Pharah, you can just heal people from the sky, and it's harder for them to hit you. People in low SR, as well, they're bad at aim. Their aim is not good. So if you're, like, up in the sky, they're not gonna know what to do about that, and you can just, like, heal people from the sky, and just, like, keep using the Pharah to stay up there, basically, and, like, gliding around. And as long as you're just, like, moving back and, like, moving around in the air, and, like, maybe, like, dropping for a little and then gliding to, like, vary your speed, it's hard for them to kill you. Like, just hang out in the sky with the Pharah, and then if you have to come down to heal somebody else, because you will, it can get, like, kind of stressful sometimes when you're, like, up with the Pharah and everybody down there needs healing as well. But for most maps, like, as long as the map isn't super confined, hanging out in the sky, you can just heal everybody from the sky, and you're just harder to kill, basically. Though it is a good idea to keep in mind where the Pharah is at all times. Even if you're not, just, like, keep in mind, even if you're not hanging out with Pharah and you're just on the ground, just, like, keep in mind where she is, because you can use her as an escape route. So, Winston's going over here. That's mad scary to do right there. Also, other thing, cancel your GA. Very rarely do you just, like, there's, like, a setting, it's, toggle GA or something like that, where you either hold it down or you just push it again to cancel it. Almost never do you ride a GA to completion, because it tends to be too far. you usually want to stop, like, short of the person. Granted, they changed that as well now, where canceling it doesn't just, like, completely kill your momentum, you keep going a little bit, but you still don't, you usually cancel it. Very rarely do you just, like, go all the way in. So it's also scary to do that because you can heal this guy, like, if you just take a step or two forward, you'll heal the guy. You don't need to spring all the way over here. And there's nowhere else to go to when you get over here. You're putting yourself in this really confined location, right next to the entire enemy team, and there's no one to go to get out of the way. Don't do that. Just, like, walk up, like, a step closer and you'll be able to heal the dude. There's no need to, like, ping-pong yourself into the room, because that's putting yourself in the danger zone, which we want to avoid, but we don't want to be in the danger zone. Also, like, Winston's going in there by himself, he's probably gonna die. Just because someone else is gonna die doesn't mean you have to go and die with them. So it's a shame this isn't New Mercy, because we'd be able to heal somebody, we'd be able to res somebody right here, but, you know. It's also kind of funny because you were saying, you were upset that Mercy can't fly, and she needs a real pair of wings. Well, you know. As of a day ago, she can do that now. Which is also why we're not going to talk about Mercy's ult this entire time, because it was, of course, completely different now. We will lament that we are not New Mercy the entire time, though, because, I mean, why would we not, basically? So, again, it's a shame we can't just, you know, res that dude right there. This is a very scary, like, this is a scary place to stand, because we're standing in the middle of the courtyard right now. And that's the most exposed location you can stand in. If we just, like, go around this way, it's not, like, the best color to use for this, really, but, like, this, probably. Like, come over here, and you can just heal them from the doorway. You don't have to actually go in, and you can use the wall as cover. Whereas if you just stand out here, you can be threatened from every single direction. Whereas if you're standing over here, you can only be threatened from, like, right there, in the point. And, like, nobody's gonna be over here, because they'd have to come out of your spawn. There's many fewer locations you can be threatened from. There is the risk you get booped off the edge, but you can also just GA back to somebody. So, whereas standing out here, that's just really scary. We also don't want to go in the point, unless we absolutely have to, because that's where the most enemy fire is gonna be directed. If you're playing Mercy, you want to avoid going on the point as much as possible, because that's where the most enemy aggro is going to be directed. It is also not our job to contest the point, so we don't ever have to really worry about it, because we let more qualified people go and deal with that. So Reaper got his ultimate, which is cool, and he's been able to kill these people because they were bad at killing him. We have a Pharah, whom we're sort of following around this way. Maybe I shouldn't have flown away. Nah, you don't want to be in that room. Shouldn't have even gone in the room to begin with, so leaving the room is also perfectly fine. That being said, we hear somebody get hooked behind us right now, so you should turn around and see if that person needs healing, which they probably will do if they're going to get hooked. And Reaper killed Roadhog, then died shortly afterwards, so if we healed him, he might have lived through that one. We also, if it's New Mercy, we could just res the dude, which would be also cool. We've just heard fire in the hole, which we are reasonably scared of because we're playing Mercy. Just got broken, so we don't have to worry about it anymore. Winston's hopping around in here in Primal Rage. It just happened to dodge our line of sight the entire time round, which is always really fun when that happens. We've got our ult, which is cool. It's not Valkyrie, though, so that's very upsetting. We're gonna get a 3-man res right here. I would have taken the 2, but we're gonna get a free man. Our ult's completely different, so we're not gonna sit and belabor that point, because why would we? So, we get to start fighting again. Tracer used her bomb, killed Lucio. You know, that sucks, but he already used sound barrier, so who cares, frankly. Still don't really want to be in the room, and we also have our back to a doorway the entire time, which is very scary. Like, go and stand at the back of the room, because if you're standing back here, you can see all the doorways, and you can see where the danger is. Like, we see him coming over here. Well, now we start backing up over this way. Whereas if we've got our back to these doorways, we don't know where the danger is. And if we're playing a support, but Mercy in particular, but if we're playing a support, we want to keep abreast of where the danger is. So don't just, like, stand right next to the doorways, because then, and especially with your back to them, because that's where the most danger is going to be, and you can't see the danger coming, which is also not good. So here's Torbjorn. We are, like, walking into the Torbjorn the whole time, just walk through the other doorway, because we're walking right next to a dude who's got a shotgun. Not good practice. But again, we don't even want to be in the room if we can avoid it. Winston's just gotten bumped off the edge, so that's very sad indeed. We can't res any of these fools because we're the old lame Mercy. We heard Junkrat using his ultimate. We're dead. Bum. No surprise. Even if the tire didn't kill us, we were going to die shortly afterwards anyway, because our whole team was dead, basically. So we get back, and we're like, whoa, look at that. We won the game. Crazy. Isn't sometimes you can get killed, and it just doesn't matter, because you win the game anyway. Whoa. So, the moral of the story is if the enemy team has a Torbjorn, on King of the Hill, they're probably going to be at a disadvantage in that game anyway, you know? This probably does deserve to be the play of the game. Roadhog, I could see in his eye he wanted to hook him, but he couldn't do it. And then we chuck it over there. Just shooting for his center of mass instead of aiming for his big old head, which is bad practice there in McCree. That's very depressing that this got a card, because that's almost no damage blocked, basically. So I'm a little upset that that got it. So, for Zarya, the biggest thing is when you're high energy, just go kill those fools, especially if you've got picks at the time as well, because there's just nothing to be afraid of. If you're high charge, you're the best DPS in the game, so you can just start going aggressive on people. If you're high energy, play aggressive. If you are low energy, play passively until you have high energy, then go play aggressively again, is basically how Zarya is. Try to ult as quickly as possible if you have the Graviton, unless you are trying for a specific combo, but we didn't have a fantastic combo, so you're just trying to, like, look for a good opportunity to Graviton them, basically, unless you're gonna combo it with, Whole Hog, because that was basically the best one we had. Death Blossom's not that good to combo with it, because Reaper has to put himself right next to the entire enemy team to do it, so quite often he'll get CC'd or killed. For Mercy, well, supports in general, just try to make sure you're not standing in the areas that have the most fire directed at them, like in the middle of the courtyard or on the point, if at all possible. If you're playing Lucio, this doesn't matter because Lucio is basically a DPS. But if you're playing any other support, try to avoid standing in areas that are going to have a lot of heat directed at them, because you want to avoid that. Also, if somebody's going into a bad position and you're playing Mercy, don't put yourself in a bad position trying to save that person, because frankly, your life is worth more than theirs. So, you can just let them die. That's fine. So, those are the biggest things. Thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer, and I hope you found the video helpful.